certified. I do a lot of the content development, the email and social media marketing, the search engine marketing and optimization, and a whole lot more. Just to let you know, the GoToMeeting chat board is being monitored, so if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, feel free to type it in the chat and we'll address it at the end of the presentation. Also, I'm monitoring the Facebook group for the same reason, and I'll put a link to that in the chat. Right now, everyone's going to stay muted so there won't be interruptions and background noise, but we'll open up the lines at the end and do a Q&A. So without further ado, here's Tom Sliker.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the 9 Essentials of Web Success. The goal of this session is to help small businesses learn these principles and practices that can help you grow your business online. And so that's, without further ado, I'll get right to it. Online growth, okay? So just taking a general look at the internet and what's going on out there on the web. Internet users have grown 10% in 1 year. Pretty steady growth still. That's as of January 2017. Active social media users is up 21% in 1 year. And unique mobile, and more important, the active mobile social users. Those are people who are using their phones to be interact with social media and other ways. And so that's the current digital landscape. Also looking at spend. Oh, I'm sorry, I turned off my webcam, so I'm going to join that. Hey, sorry about that. Turned off my webcam. The digital landscape. So again, looking at where businesses spend their money. People always been advertising for their businesses, and so where do they spend their money? How do they get the word out about what they do? This shows where businesses have been spending their money over the last 35 years, and you can see while TV has had a pretty steady growth rate all the way to current, you can see it with the rise of the internet. What you see go down is newspapers and magazines primarily, okay? And so that's primarily due to cost, to print paper, to distribute the paper, versus the way to do that digitally. So it's really no competition, and there's a good reason why folks are using digital media the way that they are today. This was another one from a talking to marketing managers, asking small business owners and marketing managers, where are you going to spend your money next year? And the answer, where are you going to increase or decrease? So what you see is a significant increase in email marketing, social media marketing, display ads, mobile marketing. Okay, that's where people are putting their money. What you see going down, you can see reductions in direct mail, trade shows, print advertising, even radio and TV. Okay, these are things that are very expensive, and so there's better ways of spending your money, more targeted. Just kind of an aside, this is just an example of something that happened just this past week. This is a text message that Marjorie got from a friend who had was Googling how to cast a shrimp net, and what came up number 2 was Marjorie being taught how to cast a shrimp net by our good friend Doug Busby, who was teaching her how to cast a shrimp net, and they taped this 7-minute video. And here we are a few years later, and we've got 113,000 views on this video. And somebody says, how do you cast a shrimp net? And look at there, Marjorie comes up number 1. And so I think it's an interesting story just to tell you that, if you keep on producing information and content, there's people out there who it will be the right answer for them at that time. And so in this particular case, if you're looking for information on how to cast a shrimp net, you're very likely to see this in the results. So is your online presence serving your business well? A survey done recently said that only 47% of small businesses believe their online presence is serving their business well, okay? So that means 53% are not satisfied. And so my question to you is, how's your online presence doing for you? And is it serving you well? Is it serving your business well? The Web Success Program, the basic idea here is that we want to give you, the tools, the techniques, the ideas and methods to make the most of your online presence and take advantage of the opportunities available to small business, okay? I'm going to give you just a brief history and a little overview of who I am. Those phrases there, being #1 on Google, dominating local markets, these are things that we've helped our clients do, and we want to kind of share the knowledge, share the wealth, and help you do the same for your business. This was an ebook that was a while back, my first cut at Web Success, and we won't dwell on that photo. But just quickly who I am, I'm in South Carolina, a Gamecock, went to college for computer science in the 80s, and went back for a master's in business a number of years later. Spent most of my career working in IT, doing computer systems, programming, project management, data integration, those kind of things. My company, Broadstreet, has been around for over 10 years. We've been full-time for about 4 years. And, you know, we focus on these same things: how to be #1 on Google, how to dominate local markets, you know, selling online, doing e-commerce. We use primarily something called Drupal, which is an open source content management system. We use that for a technical platform for building websites, highly interactive websites. And then we are also a Google partner, so we are doing a lot with Google. We are Google certified in SEO and AdWords, and we use primarily Google products. And so again, what we do at Broadstreet is we do all these things we're going to talk about. We do mobile-friendly web development, e-commerce, search engine optimization, AdWords, etc. We do kind of a total package and support plan for our customers. So rather than just building a website and handing it off, we help them to manage it, and including developing content, doing social media, email marketing, etc. Two people I want to introduce you to: Marjorie, who you've already heard from, who is my daughter and also part of this business for 6 years, as she said, and Angela, who works here in the office and helps to manage things and keep us all straight and targeted in what we're doing. So that's Broadstreet. That's probably the last thing I'll say about Broadstreet, just to kind of give you an idea of why I'm doing this, is because we've had great success with some of our clients. And I just want to walk you through just a few examples. We're going to use a lot of these case studies in the Web Success Program, and tell you how we've done some of these things specifically to help increase sales, reach new customers, and increase your bottom line. But this is Doug Busby. You'll hear about a little bit more about him later. Client for over 10 years, taking a 2-man body shop and turned it into this international business where they're literally shipping parts all over the world every single day, primarily due to the internet and the worldwide reach that he has. Another one here is Doug Decker. This is a 2-year college up in Pennsylvania, technical school, privately owned, and his family business. And his key is reaching young people, people who are looking for education, people who are candidates for cosmetology school or whatever else, other programs that they're promoting. And we do everything from web development through quite a bit of Google AdWords management for Laurel Business Institute. Another one is Larry Parker from cotdoc.com. This is a group that sells parts for stretchers, the stretchers that you take in the back of an ambulance. The very specific products, hard to get parts for them, and they found a little niche there, and they're doing very well. They went from doing everything over the phone and through newsletters and stuff to now doing pretty much everything online and continuing to grow sales on a weekly basis. And then Tyler Brothers is another one that's a retail store. They're in a town of 900 people, okay, one red light town, over 100-year-old business, and yet they have really adapted to new technology, a new way of reaching their customers. They've got over 12,000 or close to 12,000 followers on their Facebook page, for example. They've become the largest Carhartt store in South Carolina, again, in a very small town, but people come from miles around, and they have a really great way of staying in touch with their customers. We also do quite a bit of email marketing and a number of other things for them. So that's kind of an idea of what we do and our experience at Broadstreet. And hopefully we'll be able to explain to you the principles that we use, that we've been using for a number of years, and those principles will apply to your business as well. Last review there is Benji Glover from Thompson Rentals. Another happy customer, runs a number of stores that rent out heavy equipment and has been doing extremely well. Excuse me. All right, so let's start with the web success strategy. So that's what we're talking about. That's kind of the center. And so we argue that there's a number of components to that. And so we're going to start by talking about a website and a storefront strategy. Okay, and I like to talk about these together. The website, you may have a website and not have a storefront. You may not have, and I say storefront, that could be just your office location. Okay, do you have a place where people come to see you? Again, we see this as kind of foundational. If you have a store, then you probably already have customers coming in. How can we take advantage of those customers to build your online presence? And also, how can we use your online presence to bring people in the store? And so strategically, we'll want to look at those and think about what do you want to accomplish with your website? Do you want a lot of people to come there? Do you want people only coming there when they need to buy something? Do you want them to contact you, call you? What are you driving people to do with your website? And so these are things you need to think about before you go put up a little web page. It's better to have something than nothing, but it's always good to take time to plan and think ahead. And I'm going to give you some examples of how we've done this. So a website strategy, a storefront strategy, and then if we start from the left to the right, top to bottom, e-commerce strategy. So are you planning to sell anything online? Are you just driving phone calls? Are you trying to get people in your store? What are your objectives e-commerce wise? Local strategy. So particularly if you've got a storefront, if you've got a certain kind of business where you're mostly geared toward a local market, you need to think through how are you going to be found? How are you going to attract people in your local area? You need to be out on the internet with a valid presence so that you can show up on their maps, on their Google, however people are looking for you. Email strategy. So email is still one of the best ways to reach people, and we recommend every business has a solid email address list. And so if you still have customers and you're not getting their email addresses, you're missing a great opportunity. And so every one of our customers, we try to get them in the business of collecting email addresses and having a regular email going out to the customers, continuing to touch base, inform, etc. Content strategy. Okay, so on your website, what's going to be on there? Do you have anything to say? Do you have any information to share? So thinking through what is it that you want to put on the internet under your name on your website. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that and a lot of different advantages, which we'll discuss more later. Social strategy. Are you anywhere on the internet on social media? Do you, where will you be? How will you reach people? Do you have anything worth sharing that people would want to tell their friends about? And then search strategy. Search is made up of two parts, SEO and pay-per-click. So SEO is search engine optimization. Okay, that means having your website tuned in a way that makes Google happy, so Google can find all the information it needs, so it can properly index your site and direct people to your site. Okay, so part of it is this technical thing, but part of it is also very much tied in with this notion of a content strategy. What are you going to put on your internet website? What are you going to put there, and how will that relate to search results, and how will people find you? And so we talk about that, SEO, and then also pay-per-click. So this is something like Google AdWords or Bing ads, where you pay to be at the top of Google results. Okay, And then under content, we just kind of broke it out. There's a lot more different kinds of content you can do, but as a rule, these are the three that we try to focus on. Reviews. So you'll see, you can do Google reviews, Yelp reviews, lots of ways that you can be present on the internet using reviews, encouraging your customers to leave you reviews. Also blogs. Okay, blogs are still extremely powerful, particularly when it comes to search engine optimization. Blogs, when you publish information about a particular topic and it's a blog and you do it on a regular basis, Google kind of gives you credit for that, and it's a tremendous advantage, and I'll show you some examples of that in a few minutes. And then videos are great. Everybody's going to videos. If you know any young people, my kids' age in their 20s or younger, I mean, YouTube is the place to go to learn anything. It's still the largest. It's the second largest search engine in the world. Okay, Google's #1, YouTube's #2. That's how people find information. So here's some of the tools. So if you see under local, right, you want to make sure your Google My Business listing or your Google Plus listing is right for your business. If you haven't claimed that, you claim it. You want to make sure your address information and all that is right, so you show up in the right place on Google Maps. And then under SEO and pay-per-click, you can see we're mostly talking about search engines there, but also Google Plus is really important for search engine, particularly for Google. And then under social, you can see the different logos of the different social media opportunities there. So you need to pick the ones that are right for your business. And so that's kind of the things you want to talk about in your social strategy. How will we reach people? Do we have anything that people would actually share with a friend? And then on the reviews, you've got things like TripAdvisor and Yelp and YouTube for videos, as an example. So that's kind of the overview of the web success. This picture, again, just shows the same thing, but without the logos. So next, I want to take you a slightly different angle, but basically the same information, so you can kind of understand what we're trying to accomplish here, okay? So you have a business. We're going to assume you have possibly a website or possibly a storefront, but whether or not, you got people that are somehow doing business with you, right? Maybe they're calling you on the phone or they're stopping by, but somehow or another, you've got a customer or some customers, okay? And so what we're trying to do is say, how do we get more customers, right? We got these people out there in the internet, people nearby, possibly, and they're searching for something, right? And so what we want to do is we want to identify these searchers. We want to be in front of those searchers, and we use tools like Google, right? These are people searching for, they're either going to Google or Yahoo or Bing. They're either on their maps or they're looking at Yelp, or they're, somehow or another, they're searching. And so we want to be present where they are. And the goal would be to try to take these searchers and present them enough information about us, enough about our know-how, enough about what we have to offer, and ideally turn them into followers where they know who you are, they know kind of what you do, okay, and then ultimately they become prospects, okay, people that might want to do business with you, and then they become customers. And so kind of very quickly, if you go back to the previous chart, we're basically looking at things like reviews and blogs and videos is what people find, which all falls under content. We've got social media, so that's how you present information that hopefully people want to read and maybe share, maybe click. SEO, you want to be found, your organic content, things that you put out there on your website, you want to be found when people are looking for what you have. Pay-per-click, which is the paid ads, search, email marketing, local and geolocation type information, and then e-commerce. So again, these are the 9 principles, and this is how we deploy them to try to bring searchers and convert them into customers. Just a few interesting statistics. Okay, this is another chart that shows the usage of social media, okay, by age range. And so one of the beautiful things about the internet is that you can target based on so many different variables. And so in this particular case, let's just look at age. I think it's interesting that Snapchat, if you look, 45% of Snapchat users are age 24 or under, okay? and 71% are age 34 and under. So we got a very different demographic than what you would have, for example, if you were using Facebook, okay, where you would have only maybe reaching 38% of that population. So anyway, it's just a kind of a highlight that gives you an idea of where people are and age-wise, and there's tremendous amount of demographic information available if you want to target people on any of these platforms. And then this one's cool because it kind of just shows you the size of these social media properties, okay? So, Facebook with 1.6 billion users is bigger than the whole country of China, okay? Bigger than India. And even Yahoo, who is not, we don't hear much about these days, has 1 billion users, okay? So this is where people are. These are the opportunities that are there. And so how do we reach the people that can use our products, that would want to purchase from us? And so that's kind of the opportunities. So I'm going to give you a little case study walkthrough and just show you kind of how we've done this for Busby truck parts, okay, as one example. And we'll be using many other examples throughout the other 9 sessions that I'll be doing. But in the case of Busby's, the question was how to take this small group, who was fixing cars and, had at some point, started a junkyard and found a little niche. How do we convert that to, this place with a huge warehouse where they're literally, loading these containers and shipping this stuff overseas on a daily basis, okay? So we're going to walk through the different essential elements and kind of think about, walk you through how we thought about it and how we've how things have been implemented to get to the place where we are today. So first with the website and the storefront, okay, so this is the Busby website. A key part of what we wanted was we wanted to first of all have plenty of products out there, right? We want to have strong SEO capabilities, right? So we want to have actual native content on our website. So we've got lots of trucks out there. We've got lots of parts up there. We got everything, all the different brands are listed. However, one of the things is that we really want to, we have a very strong sales force that's pictured there in the top right. And these can be kind of complicated. A lot of people call thinking they need one thing and they find out they really need something a little different. And so we call this consultative selling, right? So people aren't just, we don't do an e-commerce, we just want people to call mostly. And they can fill out a form as well. But usually it's a phone call that confirms that we're selling you the right product. And so we do encourage people to call throughout the website. Also, just kind of thinking about the targets, right? So we're mostly looking at mechanics that are getting on there, or people in an office that somebody, but mostly these are mechanics that are looking for a specific part for a specific truck. Sometimes they're one time and out. Other times these are guys that work on a number of these trucks, and so they, they're still developing their expertise and they need some help and guidance on some things. We definitely try to differentiate between the trucks. We always have some running trucks for sale for somebody who just decides to buy a new one instead of just getting the parts. But a lot of focus on the parts, good photos, lots of photos, and then of course everything we do is searchable and organized, that most people can find what they need fairly easily. We've got like our most popular, if you look over here on the left, your trucks, we got them listed out by brand, manufacturers, list all the manufacturers, and then you can do it by category. You can see there's just hundreds of categories. So mostly it's a navigable site. We also, I didn't highlight it, but we do have the search box there where you can pretty much search for anything specific, and generally speaking you'll come up with that in your search results. So a couple things I think are worth noting. One of the things that we've really done that's helped us, I think, over the last couple years is improved landing pages, okay? And so this is an example of one of our landing pages. So the idea is that when people are they find a link, let's say for a Mitsubishi Fuso injection pump, So they Google Mitsubishi Fuso injection pump, and they either find an organic search result of ours to our page, or they find an advertisement on Google or Bing, and they land here at the Mitsubishi Fuso injection pumps page. So what you can see is number one, we focus on here's the products themselves, and then really what we're really mostly driving is we're saying, give us a call or request a specific part. And so what we're trying to do is really drive conversions. We measure conversions as phone calls or people filling out the form. And so we're always trying to, once somebody lands on your page, you want them to take some action. Another thing I wanted to just mention that is extremely powerful is the bilingual aspect of this. We do have Spanish-speaking employees, and we have actively promoted everything that we do a Spanish version. And so by doing a Spanish version, we get native Spanish speakers much more comfortable looking at our products and giving us a call, making a request, etc. And so also another kind of side note, if you're doing Google ads, a Spanish language ad is less than half, generally about a quarter to a third of the price of a English language ad. So you can sell an Isuzu used motor and pay, let's just say, $1 a click in English, and you might only pay 30 or 40 cents per click in Spanish ad. So it's a tremendous opportunity for anybody who's doing this. Email strategy. So we are consistent about sending out emails at least once a quarter, sometimes more. But at the very least, once per season, we'll come out and say, hey, it's winter, it's time to do this kind of maintenance, or summer's coming up, check this or that. But of course, we always have featured trucks and parts and encourage people to check out our website. And so we've got, I think we have 9,000, okay? We've got over 9,000 on our email list. And so we get tremendous good feedback and from constant contact. And then under content, I just wanted to talk a little bit, see some examples of what we've done to get the kind of traction that we've had. Reviews, okay? So Google reviews is still a fairly new thing, but we're trying to encourage people to leave Google reviews. Also, Facebook, we have a Facebook page and people leave reviews there. And not sure if you noticed, but also if you look at the Google search results, very often it'll show reviews from Facebook as well as other places like Yelp. All right, so also blogging, okay? So blogs are a tremendous opportunity if you got to have something to say. But we've worked at it, and over the years, we found things that were important. We talked to our sales guys and say, what are the questions that you get? Oh, well, a lot of people think this part is interchangeable with that part, but, we need to teach them this or that. So we write articles about that, and it does increase our improves our search results. Okay, it's another way that people find us organically by looking for specific information, and then they find us. And you can see the archive goes all the way back quite a number of years. But that's kind of this is just one particular blog post, but you can see a blog post that's been out there. This is the one that talks about the NPR, NQR transmission fluid requirements, okay? But you can see that this thing over time is getting, daily hits. It went, started out at nothing, and it's gone up to now, 200 and something hits per week at least. And so, one article that's now had 28,000 views. And so this is what we've done over and over and over and over and over again, and that's built an audience for a lot of the information that we have, and it's brought in a lot of new clients. Also, I wanted to show you on YouTube. So YouTube is another thing that we do a lot of, and it just can't overstate the impact of some of this stuff. But just as an example, this one here, the 4HE1 removal, timing, and installation, even though installation is spelled wrong, it still turns up very high in our search results. And we've had over 105,000 views of this this video, in just 1 year. And so, this is really that's a lot of people finding this video. That's almost 10,000 a month. And so they get a good look at what Busby knows, what Busby has, and if they're having problems with their 4HE1 and they're wanting to remove it and do the timing and all that stuff, there's a good chance they probably need some parts for their truck. And so we see this as a great opportunity to expose ourselves or to show what we have to people who are searching. Again, this is just the right person at the right time. They have a problem with their truck, with their 4HE1, and we happen to be there, and hopefully we direct them back to our website. And then here's just another one, the how to avoid engine failure on the 4BD2, 39,000 views. So we've got a bunch of those, and again, it's really just about getting some interesting content out there and letting the internet do its thing. On the reviews, all I wanted to say here was, yes, you want to encourage people to leave reviews for you. Even Yelp, as an example, Yelp is mostly for people looking for food and stuff, but they literally have a listing for every business pretty much. And so you ought to claim your own business. You ought to go out to Yelp and claim it, and at least it gives you the opportunity to make sure the address is correct, make sure the phone number is correct, put a link to your website, put some pictures up there. So again, it's just another place on the internet where people might find you, and you can always direct them back to your site. So back to looking at Busby's and going back to our original chart, you can see we do the reviews, the blogs, the videos. We don't do e-commerce. We do on the local. One of the things we still do is list some things locally. So we'll use Craigslist and Facebook to do some of that. We use Constant Contact for our email. We have our Yelp and our Google listings all up to date. We do our Drupal system for blogging and YouTube for videos. And then on social, we do Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. And then we do heavily use Google AdWords for pay-per-click, as well as Bing. And of course, we're doing SEO and tuning all along. All right, so if you saw the documents that we sent you a link to, basically they do all look the same, but if you look at the bottom of each one, there's a number of questions. And so the idea is to get you thinking about your business and how you might employ these different strategies. If you're a store, if you're a storefront, do you want more people in there? I didn't mention this, but like in the Busby example, we're not looking for people to walk in as much anymore. We're really happier if they call us or send us an email. But again, if you're an ice cream stand, then you're looking for people in the local vicinity, and you want them to show up at your ice cream stand. So thinking through the strategies all together, and then my hope is that you might stay with us for the next 9 weeks, and we're going to get into each one of these in more detail and help you flesh out your own strategy and think about what you want to do to have a total online presence that will reach the customers that you're looking for. And so this is kind of our plan right now. We're doing the live session now. We've got 3 or 9 separate sessions for the 9 essentials. It's going to be every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Starting next week. And so we invite you to join us for that. And I can see that these dates are wrong. I just looked and saw that Wednesday, June 7th it's today, isn't it? So anyway, push everything back a week. But I will get those updated and out to you. But starting next week, we'll be doing our website strategy, content, and search. And so we'll be getting into much more detail about the website and what you can do with it and how Google works and how search results work. And we'll get into a lot of detail on that stuff next week, Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And so with that, I am pretty much done with my part of the presentation. I would love to hear from any of you that have specific questions. Okay, I see one. Janet said that she did not get the download, so we'll try to help you get those, Janet. And so if anybody has any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up. I know people get shy, but I am gonna open it up in case anybody wants to speak.
Hey John, this is Bob Strachan.
Hi Bob.
I have a question on the schedule, just a clarification. These dates are wrong. The dates are correct, and is it moving to Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays? I'm a little confused on when the future webinars will be.
Yes, I believe, I apologize. Marjorie, did we agree Tuesdays or Wednesdays? I thought it was Wednesdays.
Yes, no, we agreed on Tuesdays. So this whole present.
This page is wrong. I'm sorry, guys. We'll send you a note with the specifics. I'm sorry I messed that up. I was changing all the dates, but yes, they're Tuesdays. So it'll be next Tuesday at 2. Okay, whatever that date is. So I'll send you all the details. Apologize
The
for that.
times are right. It's just the dates are wrong.
Right, and the day of the week is wrong. So we're going to do them Tuesdays, not Wednesdays.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
All right. Apologize for that, y'all. All right. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, we'll send you a note. We're going to send you a survey out after immediately following this. We'd appreciate you taking the 2 minutes to give us some feedback. Certainly would welcome your input and feedback. Again, we're just getting started at this. I've been working on it for several years, and I think we're finally at a place where we can roll this out. We've got 9 weeks content ready to go, and I'm excited about helping you to achieve your business goals.
Very good. Thank you, Tom.
I see your comment, Catherine. Thank you, and looking forward to working with you and talking to you again. Thank you. All right, that wraps it up. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.